Hello and welcome back to Hypnosis Today, where we explore how people are using hypnosis to achieve remarkable things. If you've just joined us, I have two very special guests. Well, my first guest is Melissa Galice. Now, Melissa is our newest instructor at HMI College of Hypnotherapy. She's an honors grad and has won the prestigious Director's Award. She also teaches for the American Hypnosis Association, a certification, hypnosis, and a transgender client. She has with her today her very special guest, whose name is Priscilla. Priscilla came in to see Melissa to maintain and sustain sobriety. Please help me welcome my guests. Priscilla, what brought you into hypnotherapy?
Well, my mom was a student and she saw one of Melissa's workshops and was just so impressed, and I don't blame her.
Well, you know, I want to comment on that, Melissa. Good for you. Anytime you're out there, anytime you're teaching, the people who are looking for you are going to find you. And your students have families, friends, daughters who can come in and see you. That's wonderful to be out there and doing the work. So what made you want to come in and see Melissa after your mom told you about her?
At first I was kind of forced to, and it was probably the best thing I've ever been forced into because I wouldn't take that back for anything in the world.
What was your resistance?
I mean, I was a 20-year-old who had tried every single type of traditional therapy, and it was just something new, and we fear the unknown. So,
what was going on, if I may ask, with the nature of your addictions?
I'd been struggling with substance abuse for a long time. I kept it very hidden. I had like this little double life going on, and nobody knew at first. Even Mel told me that for a long time she didn't know what was going on, and it was just really difficult. I couldn't maintain living this double life. It was too hard.
What made you trust Melissa enough to disclose what was really going on internally with you?
Everything about Melissa, like, she is my rock. Like, I love her more than anything in the world. Like, she keeps me grounded and anchored, and just, I had a whole team helping me out, like, throughout this whole situation, I guess, in my life, and she's just been the only one that I've really just been able to trust through everything.
What part of hypnosis helped, in conjunction with the other things, to help you maintain your sobriety?
It was the only thing that worked for me, you know? Like, I mean, I've done everything that they've told me to do, and I mean, everything goes hand in hand. It all works together, you know? So I can't say that it's really the only thing that works for me, but it was just, I don't know. There's just something about hypnotherapy that is just like something I've never tried before, and I love it.
So I want to talk to you about hypnosis and sobriety. What can you tell us?
Well, it's really important to know that once a client has, come forward and said, well, they do have an addiction issue, the first thing for every hypnotherapist is that you are then, in that moment, no longer are their sole provider or their treat, not that we treat, but you're no longer their sole provider. So I asked her to get a referral from a doctor. She did, and we continued to work together and just helped her relax. But I think the important thing is I was just part of her team. And so when you head in that process, then there's other things to kind of walk down at that point.
Very important to know that you're part of the team.
Yeah.
So now that you have your referrals in place, you're part of a team, what do you do in hypnosis?
Well, the first thing for a therapist, a hypnotherapist, is to start looking at things like stages of development, because there's often a correlation there with either 2, 3, or 4, and that's with the autonomy is a 2, initiative is 3, and of course this industry at 4. And they all have something very significant. And for example, 2 is that who am I, how am I breathing in the world, and figuring out that you're you. The initiative stage, is it okay to be me? And then, of course, 3 is feeling comfortable with making those choices, which is why in that initiative stage it's important to have a child pick out their clothes and pick out the colors of the socks, and it gives them a sense that they can make decisions in their life and move forward.
So when we talk about autonomy, it's not uncommon when someone is stuck in the stage of autonomy to act out assertiveness, but not in a healthy way. Did you find that sometimes you were using the substances to assert yourself, but not in the healthiest way?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. And when you learned with hypnosis how to assert your voice in a healthy, straightforward, and authentic way, what did that do for your sobriety?
I mean, it's allowed me to get to the point where I am today, and I couldn't ask for anything more, you know? Like, I mean, there's always room for improvement, but I'm really happy with where I am today, you know? Like, and none of this would have been possible without Melissa or my team, but mostly Melissa.
Yeah. You know why? Because when we think about hypnosis, sometimes when there are substances or addictions, there are triggers.
Absolutely.
Do you have to know the triggers?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing you do is you also look at the family systems and what those dynamics are, because those can also play into the triggers. So you want to identify the triggers. And then, of course, once you identify the triggers, then you want to begin to help amend that behavior. And you do that by giving anchors.
So, let me ask, if I may, was there a trigger that gives you some urges towards the substances? What would a trigger be for you?
I mean, everybody has triggers. I have my own weird philosophy on triggers.
Let me hear.
I mean, as an addict, like, really, you could just be having a bad day and wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and a normal person would just be like, I'm having a weird day and I'm just not having it today, right? No, like, as an addict, our solution is, oh, let me just go use over it, you know? And it could be something as silly as, like, that barbecue is too shiny and it's bothering me. Like, I'm gonna go use over it, you know? So really, mine is emotional triggers.
So now we have an emotional trigger. A shiny barbecue would always set me off, to say it. Having a bad day. What anchor do you use now to make a choice to relieve your stress but not use? Tell me what you do now when you have it triggered by one of those barbecues. What do you do instead?
I'm big on affirmations because they keep me calm. I'm able to focus my attention on something else rather than letting my mind wander. So, like,
what's your favorite affirmation?
A big one is I'm calm, I'm confident, and I'm in control. And
calm, confident, in control. You know, Melissa, that sounds like it could be a post-hypnotic suggestion.
Absolutely.
Put in the hypnotic trance, anchored in, and then when someone has a trigger, you go to the affirmation of, one more time?
I'm calm, I'm confident, and I'm in control.
Excellent. Hey, have either one of you ever tied in hypnosis with a 12-step program?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, another anchor to use is to, when that person gets triggered by this kind of an event, you can ask them what their favorite step is.
Do you have a favorite step?
I think they're all equally important, so I can't say that.
Come on, you have a personal favorite. You can tell me.
I mean, and I'm still working them, you know. I'm so thankful for those steps. Every single last one of them, believe it or not, you know. Some are more difficult than others, but they're all there for a reason and in the order that they are for a reason as well.
Which one can you remember right off the top of your head?
Step one, always and forever.
Which is?
We admitted we were powerless over our addiction and our lives had become unmanageable.
So now tie that into hypnosis.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's all tied into giving her a sense of control, and that's what goes along with the affirmations and the post-hypnotic suggestions. Things like that you're already successful, that you're in AA, you know, that you're already successful and you're working toward something special because you've acknowledged your situation. And if you can deal with this, you can deal with anything, and how exciting is that? And then the last one is one where Mark Grovell used to refer that to as rejection proofing, that you operate at 3 higher levels of an emotional feeling. And those are one of self-acceptance, of self-approval, and especially self-love. That no matter what, not everybody's going to approve of us or what we do, or things that we say, or not everyone's going to love us, and that's okay. But we're not going to do any of those things any less, because we're going to really feel those on our own and really own it.
Absolutely.
Right?
And now, no matter what anybody else says or thinks, or you perceive they think, even though they might not be thinking it,
Oh yeah.
do you have the self-love and the self-acceptance?
I mean, it's out of this world how far I've came with it. I think everything is a growing process, and I'm never going to stop growing. So it excites me to see how much more love and how much more self-acceptance I'm gonna have, like, with all these years to come. But yeah, like, I am comfortable with who I am, you know, like 8/28/2014 is a really important day to me.
Okay.
And that's my clean date. Yes. So that day means the world to me, and it's just another day on the calendar, but to me it's everything, you know, like, so it's just as important as my belly button birthday.
You're here. Looking forward, you're a beautiful young woman. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? How old will you be in 5 years?
I'll be 27 or 28.
27 or 28. What do you see yourself doing? What do you want? Where do you want to be?
See, now where I am, the possibilities are endless. So that's kind of been something I've been working on really closely lately, like, is trying to figure out where, in which direction exactly I want to go, because I mean, I'm finally back in school and I'm getting my everything together. I'm almost done, you know.
What do you study?
Advertising and public relations.
Wow. So you want to bring the message from in here out there.
That would make me a happy woman.
Excellent. What would you say to someone who wants to go to hypnotherapy? And just like you, maybe someone is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and is resistant and doesn't want mom or dad to make you go. What would you say to that young person?
Just do it, because mom and dad know best. As much as you don't want to admit it, they usually do.
Those are words to live by.
And you'll figure that out later. Just do what they say for now and then wait for the miracle.
And what would you say about working with Melissa?
Melissa's like my best friend, so I'd say stay away from her because she's my best friend, so you can't have her. No, just kidding.
You know, I love that, because although love is infinite, time and attention is finite. You heard her. But just in case someone's not going to follow Priscilla's advice, you can reach Melissa Gillies at hmigrads.com. Do you also have an international presence?
Absolutely. I Skype all over the world, actually, yes.
And you have your private practice in the greater Los Angeles area. If you want to come in and sit right in her office like Priscilla had. It appears we're out of time for today. I want to thank Priscilla. I want to thank Melissa. I want to thank everybody in the studio audience and those of you who are watching at home. But please stay tuned. We have a lot more coming up for you on Hypnosis TV. Stay tuned. And sustained sobriety. Please help me welcome my guests. Priscilla, what brought you into hypnotherapy?
Well, my mom was a student, and she saw one of Melissa's workshops and was just so impressed, and I don't blame her.
Well, you know, I want to comment on that, Melissa. Good for you. Anytime you're out there, anytime you're teaching, the people who are looking for you are going to find you, and your students. Hello and welcome back to Hypnosis Today, where we explore how people are using hypnosis to achieve remarkable things. If you've just joined us, I have two very special guests. Well, my first guest is Melissa Gillies. Now, Melissa is our newest instructor at HMI College of Hypnotherapy. She's an honors grad and has won the prestigious Director's Award. She also teaches for the American Hypnosis Association, a certification, hypnosis, and a transgender client. She has with her today her very special guest, whose name is Priscilla. Priscilla came in to see Melissa to have families, friends, daughters who can come in and see you. That's wonderful to be out there and doing the work. So what made you want to come in and see Melissa after your mom told you about her?
At first I was kind of forced to, and it was probably the best thing I've ever been forced into because I wouldn't take that back for anything in the world.
What was your resistance?
I mean, I was a 20-year-old who had tried every single type of traditional therapy, and it was just something new, and we fear the unknown. So,
what was going on, if I may ask, with the nature of your addictions?
I'd been struggling with substance abuse for a long time. I kept it very hidden. I had like this little double life going on, and nobody knew at first. Even Mel told me that for a long time she didn't know what was going on, and